All of the saws in this video perform basically the same functions. The difference in the machines is the blade diameters, cutting capacities, and the degree of automation your application requires. All of the steel cutting saws are offered in two models, an LT and an HT. The LT is a 30 to 60 RPM on the 275 models and a 22 to 44 RPM in the 350 models. The HT is a 60 to 120 RPM on the 275 models and a 44 to 88 RPM in the 350 models. The LT models are for solid sections and heavy-walled tubes in mild and stainless steel. The HT models are for thin-walled tube and non-ferrous materials. The RPM selection depends on your application. It has been our experience over the years that 90% of the applications require the LT model. If you add the variable speed option, you can achieve an even wider range of materials with each model. The 350 non-ferrous models are 1500 and 3000 RPMs. The NF models are strictly for non-ferrous materials only, such as aluminum, brass, copper, plastics, and composite materials. We will use a CPO 350 LT with a variable speed option for these demonstrations. The CPO 350 models will accept a 10 3/4, 12 1/2, or 14-inch blades. For these cuts, we are using a 12 1/2-inch blade. First, we will cut a piece of square tubing. We have added the optional square tube jaws for this cut to show the optimum position for cutting square tubes. This option allows the blade to cut through the cross-section of material throughout the cut. The variable speed option greatly increases the range of these machines. With this option, a CPO 275 LT will have an RPM range of 15 to 120. The HT will have a range from 30 to 240 RPM. On the CPO 350 LT models, the range will be 11 to 88 RPM, and the HT will be 22 to 176 RPM. Next, we cut a piece of pipe. Please notice the quality of the cut and the absence of hanging burrs on the finished cut. The double self-centering vise is a very important feature on our cold saws. To achieve the highest quality cut, it is important the material be firmly clamped on both sides of the blade. Since both the front and rear vise move to the center, you can set your length stop in the center of the vise, and you do not have to readjust it as you change sizes of material. When cutting flat stock, it should be placed in the vise in a vertical position. This allows the blade to cut through the smallest cross-section. When cutting channel iron, place it in the vise with the legs down. On this cut, as well as the others we have made, the part will not be hot. This is because the heat generated when making the cut is transferred to the chip, hence the name cold saws. On this solid bar, as well as the other cuts we have made, there are no sparks or dust created by the cutting process. To demonstrate the quality of these cuts, the operator will cut a piece of threaded rod and then turn a nut on it without performing any deburring on the part. In many applications, the ability to miter cut pieces is very important. To miter cut with this machine, release the locking handle, press the miter locking device, and rotate the head to the desired degree, and lock the head in this position. Note, the miter locking device will automatically stop at 45 degrees left and right, and at 90 degrees. This 1-inch pipe will go back together at a perfect 90-degree angle. To saddle cut pipe for railing applications, set the head at 62 degrees and make a cut on 1/3 of the pipe. Rotate the pipe 180 degrees and cut the other side. This will give you a saddle cut ready for welding.